everyone. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. We are here with Ann Ogden Gaffney with Cook for Your Life. As a reminder, you can always post comments in the comments below if you have any questions. There's a registered dietitian answering any of the questions that you may have. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Ann.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. So pleased to be with you and with White CRC today. So we're going to be doing two things, and we're going to be using kale. Kale is going to be actually the main ingredient in these two things. One is going to be the kale tabbouleh salad, and the other one is going to be a kale smoothie. And the reason I picked these is because these are great ways to add fiber with leafy greens, with nuts, and with fruit, fresh fruits. So I'm just putting the, just getting ready for the salad. I'm just putting the tough stem out of a couple of pieces of kale here. This, by the way, is lacinato kale. It's a dinosaur kale. It's my favorite one, but you can use any kind of kale you like. It doesn't really have to be this one at all. So you can really kind of go for whichever one you can get. So I'm just going to roll it up and do what the French call a chiffonade, which is it's like means little rags. Now, if ever you've heard about massaging kale for salad to make it tender, cutting it this way, as I'm doing, will just make it all massaged and all cut fine, and it will taste just really good. Now, I already did a whole lot, so you can see here for the salad. So I'm going to make the dressing now. And I always make my dressing in the bottom of the bowl. So I'm going to be putting in like a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And a grind or two of black pepper. Pinch of salt, a couple of pinches actually. And now I'm going to be putting in some vinegar. I'm just going to put in about a tablespoon. Salad dressings are pretty easy. You just need to do a 3-to-1 mix. That's 3 oil, 1 acid. So I'm using cider vinegar right now, but you can use lemon juice, or you can use white wine vinegar, whatever you prefer. And then, yes, and then 3 oil. Sometimes what I do, if I want to make the dressing light, I will take one of the oils out and put in 1 water. Okay, so now I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil. I always use, at home, I always use a drink measurer. That way it doesn't come out too fast, and you can kind of do it a little bit at a time. Now, I washed my hands and everything before I got to do this. So it's very important to always keep cleanliness in the kitchen. So wash all your fruit and vegetable first. And you don't need to do anything fancy. You can, if you're extra worried, you can put like a tablespoon of vinegar in the water just to act as a disinfectant. But the most important thing is to wash them under cold running water, even in these kind of tricky times. Okay, so now I'm going to put in some red onion. This is already chopped. Didn't think you'd probably want to watch that. And I'm putting it straight into the dressing because that's going to flavor it. I'm also putting in some chopped dates. Now, you'll often see that in a recipe, for a vinaigrette, they talk about putting things that are sweet in there, like sugar. But what happens is if you put dates in, you're getting the sweetness of the dates, but you're also getting the fiber and the various minerals and things that are in there. So dates are really good. And if you can't find dates, you can put some raisins in there as well, and they will do the same thing. So dried fruit to sweeten your dressings instead of adding sugar is a fantastic thing to do. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of water in here. Okay. Right. And last two things before I start adding the actual greens, I'm going to put in some toasted almonds. Nuts are great. They add healthy fats, fiber, and a lot of flavor. And by putting them straight into the dressing like this, these were toasted beforehand, they're going to add sort of a nuttiness into the dressing. Got my quarantine hair a bit long here. Okay. And last but not least, herbs. Now this is kind of a tabbouleh, this salad. In a tabbouleh, they use lots of chopped parsley and mint. So this is a mixture of both. The recipe online calls for just mint, but you can mix them up if you like. So you can see this now. This is kind of almost like a little salad on its own. So I'm going to start putting in handfuls of the kale. It's going to get some stirrers out here. Okay. I like to add it in as I go along so I can get the right balance of dressing to greens. Okay. Now, you can see that's looking pretty good. I'm going to put in one little bit more, and then we're going to add the quinoa. Now, normally a tabbouleh, it's made with couscous, which is kind of a teeny tiny pasta, actually. But quinoa does the same job. It's the same kind of shape and size, but quinoa is great. It's a whole grain. Well, actually, it's a seed, but it has complete protein in its array of amino acids, and it has again a lot of fiber, and it tastes really good. So it's really a fantastic, a fantastic substitute. One of the things I love about quinoa is although it's a whole grain, it doesn't take a long time to cook. It cooks in the same kind of time as white rice. So I already cooked some earlier on today. And this is how it looks. We've got recipes on the website for basic quinoa if you're not familiar. So that would be good. So I'm just going to put in, you can see how you can put in as much or as little as you like. I tend to go a little bit more on all greens and not so much. Okay, I'll show you in a minute what this looks like. Oops. Right. Okay, so here we have our salad. That's it, that's done. So it's really if you have everything on hand, it's really quick to do. And the great thing too is about things like quinoa, you can cook a whole bunch of it ahead of time. You can freeze it, freezes really well. And you can use it for things like this or to make kind of a healthier kind of oatmeal if you like. But this is the kale quinoa tabbouleh. So our next kale recipe is going to be a smoothie. Now I'm just going to, I was going to pull out the heaviest leaves, but you don't really need to worry too much about this when you're making a smoothie, because you pretty much are going to, well, obliterate it. It's going to be completely chopped up. So I'm going to cut it into little pieces. Okay, put this to one side because I'm going to need to move the board now. Now I'm going to also be putting in some parsley, and I'm not going to bother to cut that up. This is Italian flat leaf parsley. I'm going to put the whole thing in, stalks and all. Parsley is great. Parsley is full of vitamin C, as is kale. So what we're making here is a really, really fantastic immune boosting thing here with all the antioxidant vitamin C in it. Get this out of the way and move the beast in. Now when I start this is going to make a really awful noise. But there's one thing I want to show you. If you don't have a high-speed blender like this, you can use an immersion blender, like so, but make sure that you do it in a high-sided jug, so that it acts like a blender vase, and that way you'll be able to get a lot of traction with it. It won't be as smooth as the one I'm going to make here, because this is a really high-speed blender, but this will do the job. But this is what's important, it's having the high-sided jug. Right, I'm just going to get something out of my freezer. This is frozen mango. With things as they are, we couldn't get any delivered, so they did have some fresh mango, so I froze that. And there are instructions on the website on how to freeze berries, and you actually freeze mango the same way. Right. So I'm also going to put in some apple. Now the recipe asks for half an apple, but these are like little schoolboy apples. I buy the bagged ones, I prefer them. These have been washed. So I'm going to put the whole thing in. Now, let me get some of this outside so you can see what the hell I'm doing. All right, so I'm just going to cut down like so to get the core out. Don't do anything fancy. I'm going to leave the skins on because that is where the fiber is. Okie doke. Now I'm going to chop them a little bit. And by the way, if you do use an immersion blender for this kind of thing, I would advise cutting things a bit smaller than you might do in a high-speed blender. Now, the other thing that we're going to add to this, which isn't in the recipe, last night I soaked some cashews, because we often get asked about adding calories and protein to shakes, and cashews are a really great way to do it, as is just had a brain hole there, as is silken tofu and MCT oil, and adding beans maybe. But because this is a kind of a sweet shake, I really wanted to put in something that would enhance it, and that's, and the cashews will do the right job. And the thing is too that soaking them makes them soft, and this is, if you ever made vegan cashew cream, this is what you have to do first. So this will make it creamy. Right, so let's get in here. I'm going to put this in. Put in the water. Now, the other thing too about using the frozen mango, or any frozen chunky fruit, maybe pineapple also, is that it will actually act rather like ice cubes do. It will make it thicker and it will make it cold. So I've got here about 3/4 of a cup of water. I'll put a bit more in if I need it because they're actually going to be, so in goes the mango. Now, this is going to make a terrible, terrible noise at this point. So if you want to put your mute on until I'm done, I don't blame you. Okay. There you go. A green dream. Now I'm going to put in the cashews. I just wanted you to see the color of it as it is, you know, on its own. It's about side of a cup that I soaked there. All right. By the way, I'm putting this on top because with the high-speed blender, it's always good to have a dishcloth on top, especially if the liquids are hot. Okay. I'm going to push the rest of it down and just give it another quick spin. Okay. That's it. Let's then get a glass. Okay. See how thick the frozen mango makes it? If you like it a little bit runnier, you could always put a bit more water in, but I personally just love it like this. In fact, I'm going to eat it mine with a spoon. That is so good. So that is it.
Thank you so much, Ann. I made my green smoothie along with you.
Did you put the cashews in?
I did not, and I also did not have kale, so I used spinach, but all works the same, still very delicious. Thank you everyone for joining us. I did drop the recipes for both of Ann's recipes that she shared today in the comments below. Please join us next week for a live yoga session. So thank you all for joining. Goodbye.
Bye everyone, thank you.